Hello and welcome to Gear4music. My name is Simon Edgoose and I'm here to show you the DTX6 range from Yamaha. What makes these DTX6 kits special is the module. The module is very, very different from everything that Yamaha has made before. It's much more powerful, has many more features, and it sounds really fantastic. On the back we have up to 14 pad inputs, we have the master left and right outputs, we have USB, and we have a MIDI out. On the front of the module we have a 1/4-inch headphone jack and a mini jack auxiliary input. The DTX-PRO is much more powerful than previous kits. It's faster from when you hit the pads to when you hear the sounds. It's much more dynamic, so it feels much more like an acoustic drum kit, and it has a bigger dynamic range. It also has a much higher polyphony at 256 notes, meaning it can play more notes and have all the notes ring on for as long as they need to. The sounds for the module were recorded in some of the best studios in Europe. Great care was taken to capture the whole sound, from the first stick impact to the very last vibration of the instrument. As well as the actual sounds of the drums, the actual rooms that they were recorded in was also captured, and we can add this back into the sound for extra realism. The ambience modifier works by adding back in the room sound which was sampled when these drum sounds and cymbal sounds were recorded. Turning up the ambience control, I can put back real natural ambience back into the overall sound of the kit. From 0 to 50%, I can add in natural ambience. From 50% upwards, I can add digital reverb as well. The compression modifier works by adding compression to the whole kit. A little bit of compression helps glue the sounds of the kits together. More compression adds more character and can add more smack or attack to the sound, and it sounds more aggressive. Compression is a dynamic effect, so how it sounds depends on how loud the sound is in the first place. Overall, it evens out the dynamics, so it makes everything more consistent and more like a recorded drum sound. The effects modifier works by controlling how much you hear of the two built-in effects processors and the master effect. Each pad can send different amounts of signal to any processor, meaning each pad can have completely different effects if required. This is in addition to the individual channel effects. The effect modifier is the single most powerful knob on the whole module. I can pick any two effects and I can assign them to this one knob and just turn up the effects to get the sound I want. There are 3 kits in the range and we'll look at each of them. The first kit is the DTX6K-X. This has 2 cymbal pads, rubber tom pads, the KP65 kick pad, separate hi-hat and the DTX6K rack. The snare drum, however, is an XP80 pad, so we have 3 zones on its head and 2 rims, and it has the TCS textured cellular silicon head surface. The next kit is the DTX6K-X. This has 3 cymbal pads, rubber tom pads, the RS6 rack, the KP90 kick pad, the hi-hat on its own stand, and again it has the XP80 3-zone snare. Finally, we have the DTX6K-3X, and this has 3 TCS tom pads as well as the TCS snare, but apart from that, it's the same as the K2X. So it has the KP90 bass drum pad, the RS6 rack, and the hi-hat on its own stand. The KP90 bass drum pad has what is called a multi-layer cushioned head design, and that means that there are different layers of foam inside the head. This means its feel changes depending on how hard we play it. When we play lightly, it feels like an undampened 24-inch acoustic bass drum. And then the harder we hit, the beat goes further into the different layers. When we play very hard, it feels more like a heavily dampened 20-inch bass drum. The pad itself is large enough to have double pedals, and it's got a lower natural pitch, so it's less intrusive. The TCS, or textured cellular silicon, is the white head material that Yamaha use on their pads, and it's built in a very, very special way. Normally, when we think of tensioning a drum, we think of tightening the top head, and we assume that that is what pushes the stick back. But it's not all about how tight the top head is. What happens is when we hit a drum, it's actually the air inside, which is trapped, helps push the stick back. We can prove that in a very, very simple way. If we play a double-headed tom hard and fast, we can play pretty easily. But if we suddenly take the bottom head off, it becomes a lot more difficult to play. This is because all the air is coming straight out of the bottom of the drum and it's not pushing back on the stick. This is exactly how the TCS head material works. The air bubbles, which are trapped inside the silicon, trap the energy of the stick and help push it back, so it feels very realistic and very comfortable. As well as all the incredible internal sounds, you can load up to 1,000 of your own samples into the DTX-PRO module. And this could be anything you want, from loops to single hits to musical phrases or anything else. To load samples, I put my samples onto a USB pen drive and put it in the back. Then I can import them, and everything I can do to an internal sound, I can also do it to a sample as well. You can do lots of very useful and clever things with these samples, so it's just down to your needs and imagination. The DTX-PRO module has a feature called a user voice. I can have up to 120 samples on a single pad. I can get the module to play up to 10 layers of sounds, from very quiet to very loud, and up to 4 repeating samples, so you never get the same sound twice. This makes for some ultra-realistic drum sounds. I can treat the sampled sounds, which I've loaded in off the USB drive, like an internal sound. So if I want to add more effects or ambience onto that user voice, I can do so just by turning the modifier knobs. Every single zone of every single pad allows me to layer up to 4 sounds at the same time. This is a function called stack alt, and I can use these 4 different layers in different ways. I can use it to alternate so that every single time I hit the pad, it gives me the next sound out of the 4. I can also very quickly and easily layer those 4 sounds together so that all 4 sounds play together as one. But I can also get them to change depending on how hard I hit the pad. This is called velocity switching. The ride cymbal has hit point detection. This is also known as positional sensing. What this means is I can play on the bow of the ride cymbal, and as I move the stick around, I can change the sound just by moving the stick. When I play up towards the bell, it's a brighter sound, and when I move back down, it becomes darker, just like it does on a real cymbal. The USB ports are very, very important on the module. They allow me to import sounds, but they also allow me to send data from the module to a computer or other device. If I connect the DTX-PRO module to my computer, I can send stereo audio directly into my DAW. I can also send information from my computer back into the module too. I can also play along with tracks on a USB drive plugged into the back of the module. I'd simply put any number of tracks I want onto the USB drive, plug it in, and play along with the one I want. I just press the record button, and then I can just scroll through all the tracks that are on there. When I find the track I want, I simply press the play button. If I want to record myself on top of a track, I can simply hit the play button and immediately the record button, play along, and the module will record my playing and combine it with the track on the USB drive.
1, 2, 3, hey!
The DTX6 range of kits also comes with a free download code for Cubase AI. Cubase AI is a DAW or digital audio workstation which you run on your computer, and it basically turns it into a recording studio. You can connect the module to your computer and you can record yourself, and if you have an audio interface, you can also record the rest of the band. Reckon Share is a free Yamaha app available for iOS and Android, and it allows you to do lots of things with the DTX-PRO module. Reckon Share first came out with the Yamaha EAD10, and it works with the EAD, the DTX402 and the DTX6 series. It is a very clever and very useful app. You can open up any music file which you own. It doesn't work with streaming sites, only tracks you own. And then if you press play, the track plays and it plays through the module. The device is connected with a USB cable and the correct adapter for your device. The app will generate a click track if required, and I can also speed up or slow down the track. Where it becomes really clever is when it's linked to the module, I can use the camera from my device and I can use the audio from the module and I can make drum videos very, very quickly. I can edit and mix the videos after, and it's great for filming rehearsals, gigs and recording sessions. I can film a lesson with a student and I can email them the video of a particular part of the lesson before they've even left the room. The DTX6 series are incredibly powerful electronic drum kits from Yamaha, which can be used by all drummers who want to have fun, practice and create. Yamaha drum pads offer a comfortable and enjoyable playing surface, and the rack system is strong and sturdy. Combine this with the fantastic drum sounds and the natural ambience recorded in world-renowned studios, and it provides an authentic playing experience. You can come up with some amazing, different and powerful drum kit sounds, but if you do want to deep dive, the power in this module is immense. You've got so much control over every single sound on every single pad. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. For more information, click on the link below or ask the store.